Good afternoon. So welcome sa discussion natin in Chem 1 or Principles of Chemistry. So for today, we will discuss the measurements. So when we say measurement, it is the study of actually the study of chemistry is sobrang dependent yan pagdating sa measurement. So for instance, yung mga chemists daw, so hindi lang naman mga chemists, also physicists, yung mga food technologists, use measurements to compare the properties of different substances and to assess changes resulting from an experiment. So, actually lahat yung sinusukat natin no, pagdating sa chemistry laboratory. So, from the volume, mass, concentration, etc. So, a measured quantity is usually written as a number with an appropriate unit. No? So sa measurement daw is gumagamit tayo of course ng number with an appropriate unit specific for that measurement. For example, for volume, gumagamit tayo for example ng liter. Then for mass is grams, yung mga ganun. So in science daw, units are essential to stating measurements correctly. Now, katulad nga na nabanggit ko kanina is ang example natin ng units are for example, liter, yung mga ganun, grams, so everything in everyday life is actually minimeasure natin lahat yan. Mapa time, temperature, diba? For example, ito, mm, for example, 8:30 a.m. and then 1.65 meter yung taas ng lalaki. Yung mga ganon. And then, um, yung temperature, for example, 22 degrees Celsius, and then yung timbang. So, everything is literally measurements or measurement. So, for many years daw, scientists recorded measurements in metric units. So, in 1960, however, the General Conference of Weights and Measures, the International Authority of Units, proposed a revised metric system daw na tinatawag natin na International System of Units or in short, the SI units. So, we have different SI-based units, but in chemistry, um, konti lang yung ginagamit natin. So, ano ba yung mga example natin ng mga SI-based unit? So, yung mga base quantity natin, for example, is length, mass, time, electrical current, temperature, amount of substance, and luminous intensity. So, for length, ang name daw ng unit natin or ang SI unit natin for length is meter or ang symbol niya is simply small letter m, not capital letter M because capital letter M is different. No. Next is mass. So for mass is ang SI unit daw natin is kilogram or small letter kg. And then for time is second or S. And then for electrical current is ampere or capital letter A. For temperature is Kelvin or capital letter K. And then for the amount of substance is mole or MOL na maliliit. And then for luminous intensity naman is candela or C. So, in chemistry, ang madalas lang naman natin ginagamit sa mga yan is yung length, mass, time, electrical current. Yung electrical current is actually minsan lang po. Kadalasan lang is yung mass, time, volume, yung temperature. Yan. And then, of course, the amount of substance. So, we have prefixes used in with SI units is ito yung mga prefix natin. So, for example, yung mga prefix natin is tera, giga, mega, kilo, deci, centi, milli, micro, nano, and pico. So for tera, ang symbol natin is capital letter T. So ang meaning niyan is meron tayong 12 zeros. Kung mapapansin nyo, 10 raised to 12 siya, di ba? So ang example, for example, is in meter. No? So ang 1 terameter daw is equals to 1 times 10 raised to 12 meter. No, so meaning tera is a huge prefix. And then for giga, giga is capital letter G. So 10 raised to 9 naman siya. So 1 gigameter or 1 GM is equals to 1 times 10 raised to 9 meter. No? And then for mega, mega is actually 6. So ang symbol niya is capital letter M. So 1 megameter is equals to 1 times 10 raised to 6 na meter. And then for kilo, so ito medyo familiar na sa atin to. So kilo is 10 raised to 3 or 1,000. So 1 kilometer is equals to 1 times 10 raised to 3 meter or 1,000 meter. And then for deci, dito na tayo bababa. Ang deci is small letter d. So, 1/10 naman siya or 10 raised to negative 1. So, 1 decimeter is equals to 0.1 meter. And then for centimeter is C. No, so 1 over 100 or 10 raised to negative 2. So 1 centimeter is equals to 0.01 meter. And then for milli is small letter m. So ito naman ay 10 raised to negative 3. So 1 millimeter is equals to 0.001 meter. Kung mapapansin nyo, papaliit na yung ating mga um, values kasi nagne-negative na yung ating mga exponent. So, for micro is, ang symbol natin dyan is mu. Ayan, para siyang letter U na may buntot sa unahan. So, 10 raised to negative 6. So, 1 micrometer is equals to 1 times 10 raised to negative 6 meter. And then for nano is N. So, for nano is N, so 10 raised to negative 9. So 1 nanometer is equals to 1 times 10 raised to negative 9 meter. And then for pico is P, so 10 raised to negative 12. So 1 picometer is equals to 1 times 10 raised to negative 12 meter. So as you can see, in chemistry, we use actually small measurements or small prefixes lang dito sa SI units because we're dealing with atomic structures or atomic or micromolecules. So meaning the measurement is very small. Kadalasan, ang ginagamit lang natin dito is from kilo to pico. No, yung mega, giga, and tera ay madala. So in SI units daw, we have derived units. So units obtained by multiplication or division of one or more basic units. Ito yung mga example natin ng mga derived unit. First is yung area. So ang area, ang definition niya is length times length. No? Example, dalawang length, that is an area. Diba? So meter squared yung kanyang derived unit name. And then for volume is area times length. Diba? So, yung area kasi is two-dimensional and then yung volume naman ay three-dimensional. So, area times length is meter cube. And then for density is mass per unit volume or kilogram per meter cube. And then for speed is distance per unit time or meter per second. And then acceleration is change in speed per unit time or meter per second squared. Take note that velocity is different from speed and acceleration. Actually, velocity is also speed, but it has a displacement. No? And then for force, take note that force, pressure, and energy is iba-iba yan. But as you can see, yung mga derived unit nila is almost magkamukha. But it's actually different. So for force, ang force daw natin is mass times acceleration. So ang derived unit niya is kilogram meter per second squared or simply Newton or capital letter N. And then for pressure, ang pressure is force per unit area or kilogram per meter second squared. And then, in short, that is Pascal or PA. And then for energy, 4 times force times distance. So kilogram meter squared per second squared or joule or simply J. Remember that this derived unit is you should you should memorize that kasi it is very essential lalong-lalo na sa chemistry, no? So dapat kabisado yan. So mag-start na tayo sa mass and weight, no? The difference between mass and weight in definition is actually not that big. Now, when we say mass, it is how much a matter an object contains. No? So wala tayong pakialam sa ibang um, factors na pwedeng makaapekto basta siya ay mass. And then when we say weight, weight is the force exerted on a mass by gravity. So kapag weight, may kinalaman na dito si gravity. So mass is a constant for body and does not change with location. So kahit saan mo daw siya dalhin, ang mass niya is constant, hindi siya nababago. Kung 50 kilogram yung mass mo, pagdating mo sa ibang, for example, sa ibang planeta or sa ibang lugar, your mass is still the same. No? 50 kilogram pa rin. And then when we say weight, weight is not a constant. It changes from place to place. No? Kasi ang weight is affected by the gravity. No? So, for example, ayan yung mass natin is 50 kilogram and then yung weight daw natin sa Earth is also 50 kilogram. But our weight in moon or on the moon is 8 kilogram. Why? Kasi mas mababa yung gravitational pull na meron yung moon compared sa Earth. Kaya nga yung mga astronauts natin na pupunta sa moon is para kapag tumatalon sila is parang magaan. It is because of the gravitational pull na meron sa moon. No, it is weaker than the Earth. So for the volume, so volume is length or meter cube. No? So its SI derived unit is the cubic meter or meter cube. So generally, however, chemists work with much smaller volumes. Diba sa chemistry, hindi lang naman sa chemistry, also in food technology and other um, chemistry-related courses is we're dealing with smaller volumes. No? Kasi kapag meter cube yung ginamit natin, masyado siyang malaki. Diba? So, ginagamit natin in chemistry is cubic centimeter or cm cube and the cubic decimeter or dm cube. So, another common non-SI unit of volume is the liter. So, ito yung pinaka-common na lagi nating naririnig in chemistry, yung liter or capital letter L. A liter is the volume occupied by 1 cubic decimeter. So chemists generally use liter and ml for liquid volume. So 1 liter is equal to 1,000 milliliters and then or 1,000 cubic centimeters. So ito yung conversion natin sa may gilid. So 1 liter is equals to 1,000 ml. So 1 liter din daw is also equals to 1,000 cm cube. At ang 1 liter is also equal to 1 dm cube. So basically 1 ml is equals to 1 cm cube. So and 1 milliliter is equals to 1 cubic centimeter or 1 cm cube. Hindi pala. So next is the density. So density is the mass of an object divided by its volume. So simply the formula for density is equals to mass divided by its volume. The SI derived unit for the density is the kilogram per cubic meter or kilogram per m cube. But this unit is awkwardly large for most chemical applications. So in chemistry, ginagamit natin is gram per cm cube or yung equivalent niya which is the gram per ml. So remember that density is directly proportional with its mass. Meaning, when we have an increase in mass, we have also an increase in density. But the volume is inversely proportional kay density. Meaning, when we have an increase in volume, the density will decrease. So, sample problem tayo. So, gold is a precious metal that is chemically unreactive. So, it is used mainly in jewelry, dentistry, and electronic devices. So, a piece of gold ingot is with a mass of 257 has a volume of 13.3 cm cube. So, calculate daw natin yung density ng gold. So, the formula will be D is equals to M or mass over volume. So, ang mass natin na given is 257 grams divided by 13, which is in volume natin, 0.3 cm cube. So, don't forget the units. So, ito ay gram. So, 257, calculate natin. 257 divided by 13.3 is equals to 19.32 gram per cm cube. So the answer will be 19.32 or 19.3 na lang gram per cm cube. So that's the final answer. So sample number 2. So a piece of platinum metal with a density of 21.5 gram per cm cube has a volume of 4.49 cm cube. What is its mass? So this time, ang hinahanap naman natin is yung mass. No? So again, the formula will be D is equals to M over V. So kung ang hinahanap natin ay yung mass, and then ang given sa atin ay yung density, and then yung volume, so magde-derive tayo ng formula. So, derive natin to. How? Iko-cross multiply natin. So, dapat ma-isolate natin si M doon kay V. So, kapag kin-cross multiply natin yan, ang mangyayari dyan is M is equals to D multiply by V. So, ayan na yung final formula natin. Yan na yung gagamitin natin for the calculation of the mass. So, itaas lang natin dito. And then, M is equals to yung density natin, which is 21.5 gram per cm cube. And then, multiply natin with volume, which is 4.49 cm cube. So, dito, magkakaroon tayo ng cancellation of units. So, cancel natin si cm cube para matira si gram. So, 2.5, ay sorry, hindi pala siya 2.5, 21.5 times 4.49, calculate natin. 21.5 times 4.49 is equals to 96.5. So, the answer is 96.5 grams. So, that's the final answer. Next is the temperature scales. Now, so there are actually 3 temperature scales that are currently in use. So, meron tayong Fahrenheit, Celsius, and Kelvin. But the degrees the Fahrenheit and then the Celsius, kung mapapansin nyo, gumagamit tayo ng degrees. No? And then for Kelvin is hindi tayo gumagamit. Remember that Kelvin is the SI unit of the temperature. No? Pero here in the Philippines, ang ginagamit natin for weather, for temperature, for example, pag may lagnat is, ang ginagamit natin ay degrees Celsius. Pero in Chem, ang SI units natin ay Kelvin. No, yung Fahrenheit naman, madalas to ginagamit sa mga western countries such as US. So, meron tayong formula. Itong formula na to, kailangan nyo itong kabisaduhin. So, meron tayong conversion from Celsius to Fahrenheit, Fahrenheit to Celsius, Celsius to Kelvin, and Kelvin to Celsius. So, as you can see, wala tayong conversion from Kelvin to Fahrenheit or Fahrenheit to Kelvin. So, if ever ang hinahanap ay Kelvin, tapos ang given ay Fahrenheit, you need to convert it into degrees Celsius first before converting into Kelvin. So, ang formula natin, for example, ang given natin ay Celsius at ang hinahanap ay Fahrenheit. So, the formula will be 9/5 times degrees Celsius plus 32. So, kapag nag-i-input kayo sa calculator, also include the open and close parentheses kasi magkaroon ng errors kapag hindi nyo sinama yung open and close parentheses. And then for the Fahrenheit formula naman to Celsius is degrees Celsius is equals to 5/9 times Fahrenheit minus 32. So parang reverse lang siya. And then for the Celsius to Kelvin, Kelvin is equals to degrees Celsius plus 273. Actually, this is 273.15. Yan. And then for Kelvin to Celsius, Kelvin minus 273.15. So, ano lang siya. Next is handling numbers. Paano tayo mag-handle ng mga numbers? So, there are techniques for handling numbers associated pagdating sa mga measurements. So, first is the scientific notation and then second is the significant figures. So, scientific notation, so when working with very large number and very small numbers, we use a system called scientific notation. Kapag daw masyado ng malaki yung number, for example, 1, 5, 9, 6, 3, 5, 8, 9, 7. Yan, di ba masyado ng malaki yung number. Gumagamit na tayo ng scientific notation para mas lumiit yung number and then parang hindi siya mahirap isulat. No, so regardless of their magnitude, all numbers can be expressed in the form of n times 10 raised to n, where n is the number between 1 and 10. So pwede siyang 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And n, or small letter n, is the exponent. No, the exponent can be a positive or negative integer. And then dapat siya ay whole number lang. No, kasi hindi tayo pwede mag-exponent ng decimal and then ng fraction, no? Sa scientific notation. So, example is the number of atoms in 12 gram of carbon is 602, 200, tatlong zero, tatlong zero, tatlong zero, tatlong zero, tatlong zero, at tatlong zero. So, this number is very large, di ba? Masyadong malaki yung number. So, gagamit tayo ng scientific notation para yan ay ah, para yung pagsulat natin sa kanya is mas maliit. So, mag-start tayo kay 6. Dito tayo maglalagay ng point. So, kaya siya naging 6.022. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So, 23 yung mga kasunod niya. Kaya 23 yung kanyang exponent. So, kaya siya positive kasi siya ay papunta to the right. And then, for the second example naman, mass naman daw ng single carbon atom in grams. So, ito is 0.00000000 hanggang sa mapunta na dun sa 199. So, kapag sinulat natin yung scientific notation nito is maglagay tayo ng point between kay 1 at kay 9. So, and then pabalik tayo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hanggang sa makarating ka doon kay doon sa may tuldok, doon sa may decimal. So, 1.99 times 10 raised to negative 23. Kaya naman siya negative 23 kasi it is a decimal. And then, pabalik siya. Papunta siya doon sa left. So, pag-try tayo. So, if the decimal point has moved to the left, the n is actually, this is negative. And then, if it has to move to the right, the n is positive. No, positive. So, mag-example tayo. I-convert natin to into scientific notation. Si 568.762. Pag kinonvert natin to into scientific notation, it will be 5.68 times 10 raised to 1 and 2 raised to 2. Hindi kasama tong part na to because decimal na yan. And then for number 2 naman, so ito, 1, pabalik to, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this one will be 7.72 times 10 raised to negative 6. So ganun lang. So remember the following 2 points. First, kapag daw yung n is equals to 0 or yung exponent natin is equals to 0, kapag in-express natin siya from scientific notation, kapag i-convert natin siya sa normal form niya, is yun lang din yun. For example, 74.6 times 10 raised to 0 is also equals to 74.6. No? And the second is the usual practice is to omit the superscript when n is equals to 1. Kapag daw yung n is equals to 1 natin, hindi na natin siya isinusulat. No, for example, 7.46 times 10. Yun na yun. Hindi na natin sinusulat yung times 10 raised to 1. So, hindi na yan isinusulat. No. Next is the significant figures. So, actually, we have rule sa significant figures. First rule is any digit that is not 0 is significant. No? Any digit daw from number 1 to number 9 is significant. Now, for example, 845 centimeter. So, all of these numbers are significant. And actually, we have 3 significant figures dito. And then for number 2, zeros between non-zero digits are significant. So, yung mga zero daw na nasa gitna ng mga non-zero digits is actually significant siya. For example, 200.16 ml. So, yung dalawang zero na yan sa pagitan ng 2 at 1 is actually significant. So, kung bibilangin natin yung significant figure dito is, this one is actually 5 significant figures. Next is zeros to the left of the first zero digit are not significant. So yung mga nauuna daw, especially sa mga decimals, yung mga nauunang zero is actually not significant. For example, 0.000349. So yung first zeros na to, na naka-underline is actually not significant. So ang kukunin lang natin is yung 349. So eto is three significant figures. And then fourth rule is, if a number is greater than 1, kapag daw mas malaki sa 1, then all zeros written to the right of the decimal point, kapag daw nasa decimal point, count as significant figures. For example, 2.5400 milligram. Kung mapapansin nyo, yung dalawang zero na to is nasa decimal yan, di ba? So that is counted as a significant figure. Why? Kasi may possible numbers pa nakasunod si for 00 na yan. No, pwedeng 1, pwedeng 2, pwedeng 3. So kung i-count natin yung significant figures na meron dito is actually this one is 5 significant figures. And for the last one, trailing zeros are not significant. Sa mga buong numbers, for example, 500 ml is yung dalawang zero na to, nakasunod ng 5 is not significant. No, so hindi natin siya ititreat. So ito ay one significant figure lang. And then for example, siya ay naging 500.0. Kapag ganyan yung naging case, meron na tayong decimal na nakikita na 0, yung dalawang zero na to ay i-count na natin as significant. So this one is actually for significant figure. So yeah. So, ulitin lang natin, other representation lang to. So, any digit that is not zero is significant. So, ito ay for significant figures. So, zero between non-zero digits are significant. This is three significant figures. So, zeros to the left, to the first zero non-digit are not significant. So, this is one significant figure because yung 8 lang yung bibilangin natin. And then if a number is greater than 1, then all zeros to the right to the decimal point is significant. So ito, two significant figure to kasi kinakount na natin yung decimal na yan, yung zero na yan. And then if a number is less than 1, then only zeros that are the end and in the middle of the number are significant. So this one is three significant figures kasi ito ay nasa decimal point. So, meron naman tayong mga tinatawag na exact numbers. So, ang exact numbers is numbers that have no uncertainty and do not limit the number of significant figures in calculated answers. Now, ibig sabihin lang yan is exact lang sila. So, used as part of defined relationship between quantities. For example, 100 centimeter is equals to 1 meter. Yung mga ganun. And then, for counting numbers, is obtained by counting individual objects. For example, dozen of eggs is equals to 12 eggs. Ibig sabihin, those are exact numbers. And then numbers that are part of simple fraction, and then yan, yung 5/9 sa equation natin sa conversion ng temperature from Fahrenheit to degrees Celsius. So, sample problem tayo ulit. So, determine the number of significant figures in the following measurements. So, for the first one, 394 cm is 3 significant figures. So, 5.03 is also 3 significant figures. And then 0.714 is also 3 significant figures. And then for 0.052, 2 significant figures. So for the number 5 is 2.720 times 10 raised to 22 atoms. This is actually 4 significant figures. Kasi hindi naman natin i-count yung naka-raise na 22. And then the last number is actually 1 significant figure lang kasi this is 3,000 ml. So wala naman siyang decimal point. So kung may decimal siya, kasama siya. So, sa significant figures is meron tayong calculations, addition and subtraction and multiplication and division. Since gumagamit naman tayo ng calculator, hindi naman na siguro natin ito masyadong itatakal but i-discuss ko pa rin siya kasi important siya. So, the answers carries the same number of decimal places as the number with the fewest decimal place. For example, yung 4.4981 1.81 is actually a 4 decimal places. And then yung 1.26 is 2 decimal places. Diba? So kapag pinag-minus natin sa silang dalawa, yung technique ng pagmaminus niya dito is itinapat niya um, yung mga points sa decimals. Diba? So 4.4981 binabalang sa 81, and then 49 minus 26 is actually 23, and 4 minus 1 is 3. No? And then ira-round up daw natin siya into 3.24. Remember na in significant figure, the lowest number, the fewest significant figure, or yung may sa problem, for example, sa 1.26 siya ay 3 significant, di ba? And then si 4.4981 is actually 5 significant. Kung sino yung mas mababa sa kanila na significant figure, yun yung susundin natin pagdating sa pagsusulat ng final answer. So in this case, si 1.26 is 3 significant figure lang siya. So pagdating sa final answer, siya yung susundin natin. Kaya siya naging 3.24, which is also a 3 significant figure. And then kung mapapansin nyo, 2 decimal places din siya. So for multiplication and division, the answer should have the same number of significant figures as the factors with the fewest significant figure. So dito, katulad lang din doon, is kung sino yung may konting significant figure, siya yung susundin natin pagdating sa final answer. So in this case, 8.65 times 2.053 equals to 17.8. Now, ang sinunod natin ay yung may 3 significant figures doon sa final answer. So, paano naman daw kung what if one or all the numbers do not have the decimal places? Paano kapag yung isa sa kanila ay walang decimal place? For example, dito sa letter A, so 23 ay walang decimal place minus 14.6. So, the last significant figure natin is ito. Diba? So, there is no decimal place after the last significant figure, so the answer cannot have one either. Ibig sabihin, yung final answer daw ay hindi din natin pwedeng lagyan ng decimal. No, for example, 23 minus 14.6 is equals to 8.4. Diba? Diba, ito ay 2 significant figure. At ito is 3 significant figure. 3 significant figure yan. And then, the final answer natin should also have 2 significant figure, di ba? Kaya siya 8.4. But, the 23 doesn't have a decimal place. So, dapat yung final answer ay wala din decimal place. Kaya, ang naging final answer natin will be 8 only. No. And then, for letter B, 5,289 minus 100. So, the last only significant figure has only certainty of hundreds, which is less than tens and ones of 5,209. So, 100 plus, but minus, actually plus to, plus 5,289 is equals to 5,389. And then, isusulat natin siya as 5.4 na lang times 10 raised to 3. No? So, therefore, yung final answer natin is rounded up into hundreds. So, if there are more than 2 numbers involved in the calculation, the rule is not to round off any intermediate results and only do it for the final answer. For example, yung mga intermediate results kasi, ito yung mga nakukuha nating resulta pero hindi pa ito yung final answer. For example, ang problem is from Fahrenheit to Kelvin. Diba? Ang Fahrenheit, wala naman siyang direct calculation into Kelvin. So, ang kailangan mo munang gawin is convert mo muna siya into degree Celsius, diba? Bago mo siya ma-convert into Kelvin. So, the intermediate result ay yung makukuha mo dun sa degree Celsius. No? Kung sobrang dami ng decimal point na makukuha mo dun, wag mo muna siyang ika-cut. Kasi kapag nag-cut ka kaagad, the final answer, pwede siyang maging mali. No? Magkakaroon siya ng error. Kaya wag muna kayo magka-cut. Mag-cut kayo kapag nandun na kayo sa final answer na. Or kung ano na yung hinahanap. So, ito yung mga commonly used metric units natin. So, length, volume, mass, temperature, energy, and time. Ito yung kadalasan natin ginagamit in chemistry. So, meron tayong mga conversion factors dito na included, and then meron tayong metric to English unit. So, itong mga part na to, since mga mga Chem and Food Tech. So, dapat kabisado nyo to. Pero minsan naman kasi, kasama naman siya dun sa may problem. So, next is the conversion of units. So, the procedure used to convert units in solving chem problems is called dimensional analysis, or tinatawag din natin na factor label method. So, in general, to apply dimensional analysis, ang ginagamit daw nating relationship is given quantity multiplied by the conversion factor is equals to desired unit. This conversion factor is actually the desired unit over the given unit. No, so para magkaroon tayo ng cancellation of units. Kaya siya naging given unit times desired unit divided by dun sa given unit para ma-cancel out natin siya. Is equals to dun sa desired. So, conversion factor is a ratio of two different units. Ratio daw siya. For example, 1 meter is equals to 1,094 yard. That is an example of a conversion factor. So, ratio daw siya. So, another example is 1 pound is equals to 453.6 grams. So, example, convert daw natin si 381 grams into pounds. So, again, gagamitin natin yung relationship na to. So, given quantity times conversion factor is equals to desired unit, or given unit is multiplied by the desired unit divided by dun sa may given unit para ma-cancel out natin yung given unit. Para matira na lang is yung desired unit natin. So, gamitin lang natin si 381 grams, tapos magiging pounds. So, 381 grams multiply by, ito yung conversion factor natin, 1 pound is equals to 453.6. Diba? Nasa baba si given unit kasi kailangan natin ma-cancel out yung unit. So, 381 times 1 divided by 453.6 is equals to 0.840 pounds or LB. And then for example number 2, so in this example naman, gumamit tayo ng two conversion factors. Diba? Kasi ang i-convert daw natin, si 1.844 gallons to milliliters. So dito gumamit tayo ng two different conversion factors. From gallon to liter and liter to milliliter. So 1.844 gallon daw times 3.785 liters. So cancel out natin yung gallons. And then divided by 1 gallon and then multiply by ang isang litro daw ay merong 1,000 ml. So cancel natin si liter at cancel natin si liter para maiwan yung desired unit natin which is the ml. So 1.844 times 3.785 times 1,000 is equals to 6,980 ml. So this is the equalities and conversion factors stated within a problem. So yung etong problem na to is actually two conversion factor din. Mag-example naman tayo sa susunod. So, conversion factors from a percentage. A percentage is written as a conversion factor by choosing a unit and expressing the numerical relationship of the parts of this unit to 100 parts of the whole. For example, a person might have 18% ng body fat by mass. No? So, kapag nagka-calculate tayo ng mga percentage, actually, minumultiply lang natin to by 100. And then for the sample problem, a person's average daily intake of glucose is 0.0833 pound. What is this mass in milligrams? So, meron tayong conversion factor na given dito. So, ang hinahanap natin is milligram. Pero ang given natin is pound. So, ang goal natin is to convert yung pounds or yung LB into since ito yung conversion factor natin, ang given ay grams, kailangan maging grams muna siya bago natin siya ma-convert into milligrams. Yan. So, paano natin siya i-calculate? So, 0.0833 pounds or LB, and then sabi daw sa 1 pound, ang 1 LB is equals to 453 0.6 grams. So, cancel na natin si pound, cancel na natin si pound, and then si gram is kailangan natin i-convert into milligram. So, ang 1 gram is actually equals to 1,000 milligram. So, cancel natin to and then cancel natin to. Ayan, nakuha na natin desired unit natin which is the milligram. So, calculate natin siya. 0.0833 times 453 times 1,000 is equals to 37,734 grams. 37,734 grams. Or kung i-convert natin to into scientific notation, so dito sa given, meron tayong 3 significant figure. So dapat maging 3 significant figure din siya. So 3.77 times 10 raised to 1, 2, 3, 4. Raised to 4 yan, grams. So that's the final answer. And then for this one, try to practice. Ito. Pero syempre magbibigay ako ng hint kung paano siya i-calculate. So dito is the average speed of a nitrogen molecule in air at 25 degrees Celsius is 515 meter per second. So i-convert daw natin siya into miles per hour. Ang 1 mile is equals to 1.609 kilometer. So, yan. Kailangan daw i-convert natin siya into meter per second. Diba? So, try nyo itong i-calculate. Tapos, try nyo siya sa akin pa-check. No. Pero ang magiging, magiging process, diba? Meter per second siya. So, meter per second, kahit ano naman yung unahin nyo. So, para ma-cancel out natin si meter, is ano muna yung gagawin natin? Diba? Ang pwedeng etong kilometer na to i-convert natin into meter. So kapag naging meter yan, sige bibigay ko na rin, magiging 1,609 meter siya. Diba? So meter dito, sa taas si mile, and then cancel na to. So ang problema na lang natin is si seconds into hours. So, diba in 1 hour, we actually have 60 minutes. 60 minutes, and then in 1 minute, we actually have 60 seconds. So kung susumahin mo in seconds into 1 hour, into 1 hour is actually 3,600 seconds. So pwede yung ganun, no? So 3,600 seconds is equals to 1 hour. So pwede ngayon yung gamitin and then mako-convert na natin siya. Next is the accuracy and precision. So, accuracy and precision is, pag sinabi nating accuracy, it is how close a measurement is to the true value. No? For example, ito yung analogy natin, yung dart. Diba? Ang true value natin will be 100. And then, kung mapapansin nyo, yung mga blue dots na yun ay malapit sila lahat kay 100. So, meaning, it is accurate. How close lang yung sinasabi, not exact. Kung gaano kalapit doon sa may true value. And when we say precision, it is actually how close a set of measurement to each other. Yung mga set ng measurement natin, kung gaano sila kako-close sa isa't isa. For example, ito. Diba? And then, yun. So, yung una nating dart is accurate and precise. Kasi magkakalapit yung value natin and then accurate sila lahat. No? Malapit sila lahat kay true value. For the second example, hindi sila accurate kasi malayo sila dun sa true value which is 100 but precise sila sa isa't isa. And then for the last example, kung mapapansin nyo, magkakalayo yung mga dots natin. So, this is not accurate and not precise. So, for the sample problem, suppose for example that 3 students are asked to determine the mass of piece of copper wire. The results of 2 successive weighing by each student are, so si student A daw, ang average value na nakuha niya is 1.971. But the values na nakuha niya para makuha niyo yung average is 1.964 and 1.987. 1.978. Then for student B naman is 1.972 and 1.968. And then for student C is 2 grams and 2.002 gram. No, so ito yung mga average nila. So sa kanilang tatlo daw, the true mass of the wire is 2 grams. So sino daw sa kanilang tatlo yung pinaka-accurate and pinaka-precise? No, so obviously ang most accurate ay si student C kasi malapit siya kay 2 grams mismo yung isang exact pa, di ba? No. And then kasi yung average value niya is 2.001. And then ang pinaka-precise din is actually student C din. Kasi kung mapapansin nyo, yung measurement niya na 2.00 at yung 2.002, actually, sobrang lapit ng dalawa na yan. Kaya sila yung most precise. Actually, lahat naman sila ay precise at lahat naman sila ay accurate. But, si student C ay yung may pinakamalapit na mga values dito sa true value natin. No, so, this is an assignment and then submit it doon sa Google Classroom. So, yung natin, yung problem natin is number 1, identify lang daw natin kung measured or exact. Si number 1 ba ay measured or exact? And then si number 2 is how many significant figures are each in the following. Ito ay bibilangin lang yung significant figures. And then for number 3, ang gagawin nyo lang siyang scientific notation. And then for number 4 ay magko-compute kayo. Magko-compute kayo, magda-dimensional analysis kayo. So that's all. And if ever you have questions, comment now.